Good morning. Welcome back to our another session on two simple hash functions. In this session we are going to discuss about very simple and insecure hash functions. In the previous sessions we have gone through the concept of the hash functions, the properties of the hash functions, and the cryptographic hash functions and the properties of the cryptographic hash functions, as well as the applications of these cryptographic hash functions. So, in this session we are going to discuss about very simple hash functions. One is the XOR operation or the XOR hash function, and the second one is OR XOR operation. This OR XOR operation is nothing but rotated XOR operation. It is a very simple topic, and before entering into this particular topic, let us have a quick idea on some of the basic points for understanding these concepts. We should know the general principles. So, hash functions, every hash function you take, they operate on the general principles, like these are the two general principles we have. The first one is the input, which can be a message, file or text, anything it is possible. It should be viewed as a sequence of n bit blocks. Whatever message you have, whatever message for which you want to generate the hash values, that you should view as if it is a n bit block. So, you divide the given message or given data into equal sized blocks, where each block is of size n bits. And the second principle on which these hash functions operate is the input is processed one block at a time. So, you have n bit blocks, and out of these n bit blocks you will be considering only one block at a time, and you should iterate that one bit block and produce an n bit hash function. And remember that this hash value that you are going to generate, the resultant of this n bit hash function, the output will be some n dash, let us say. And remember that this n is always greater than n dash. In the previous session also we have told that the number of bits of the input should be greater than the number of bits of the output. So, these are the basic principles on which the hash functions operate. Very simple thing. The first one is the input is viewed as a sequence of n bit blocks. The input is processed one block at a time in an iterative fashion to produce an n bit hash function. Once we are clear about these general principles of the hash functions, let us look at the first basic and simplest hash function, which is nothing but the bit by bit exclusive OR hash function. In short form we can call it as the XOR hash function. So, this is the simplest hash functions we have ever seen, and it is called as a bit by bit exclusive OR. So, you are performing the exclusive OR operations on a bit by bit basis of every block. And the formula that exists for this particular hash function is a very simple thing. Ci is equal to bi1 exclusive OR, this is an exclusive OR symbol, bi2 again exclusive OR, plus and so on up to BIM. Here the Ci is nothing but the output we have. The Ci is nothing but the ith bit of the hash code. That means the output, which is nothing but a hash value or a hash code, that is denoted by Ci. It's not the entire, Ci is not the entire output. It is one bit inside this hash value. This is the ith bit. When I say Ci, if I say C1, it is the first bit, C2 is the second bit, C3 is the third bit. Like that, Ci denotes the ith bit of the hash code. See here, you can see here, 1 is less than or equal to I is less than or equal to n. This means that the hash value that you are generating should be at least one bit, and it should be less than or equal to n, where n stands for the n bit block. The resultant hash value that you are generating should be at least one bit, and it can be at most n bits. Maximum you take it is less than n. Instead of this one, you can take this one, less than. And what about this m? M represents the number of n bit blocks in the output. As I told that, as in the first general principle, here we have discussed that the given input is divided into n bit blocks, and the number of n bit blocks we are considering here is m. See here, the Ci bit is generated from the Bi bit of the first block, exclusive OR with Bi bit of second block. Therefore, this Bij denotes, if I take this Bij like this, it represents the ith bit in the jth block. So, this represents Bi2 means ith bit in the second block. This formula, if I want to convert it into the third bit, if I want to find the C3, it can be written as B3 of 1, that means the third bit of first block, exclusive OR with the third bit of second block, exclusive OR with the third bit of third block, and so on, exclusive OR with the third bit of the mth block. Like that you can find. And as I told that this symbol represents the XOR operation, exclusive OR operation. This is how you are going to generate the hash value, by making use of the bit by bit exclusive OR operation. So, you can take this bit by bit exclusive OR operation as a very simple, but it is somewhat insecure hash function. And coming to the next one, which is almost similar to that of this exclusive OR only, but to improve the efficiency, what we are doing is we are going to perform a 1 bit circular shift, 1 bit circular shift, either to the right hand side or towards the left hand side. So, we can also call these circular shifts as rotations. And these rotations are performed on the hash value after each block is processed. So, the process remains the same, the formula remains the same, Ci is equal to Bi1 plus exclusive OR, Bi2 exclusive OR, and so on up to Bim. It remains the same, but once you prepare one block or you process one block, whatever hash value you get, that is to be shifted towards its left or right. That is called as rotated XOR hash function. Let us see this. So, to improve the efficiency of the previous bit by bit XOR operation, the simple way is to perform a 1 bit circular shift or rotation on the hash value after each block is processed. So, the procedure goes like this. Initially, you set an n bit hash value to 0. For example, let us take this one. It is a 16 bit hash value. Let us assume initially you take every bit as 0, so you will have 16 zeros here. This is the initial hash value you have taken, and the second bit should be repeated. It is an iterative process. So the process of each successive n bit block of data goes as follows. Rotate the current hash value to the left by 1 bit and then XOR the block into the hash value. Right. So this is what we are going to do in this rotated XOR operation. You can either shift it towards the left or you can shift it towards the right, nothing wrong in it. Why this rotated XOR, that R XOR is efficient means, the main thing you have to understand here is there should not be regularity in the inputs. Regularity in the inputs is not accepted for generating the hash functions. If you perform this rotated XOR operation, you are bringing an effect called as randomization. Randomization into the hash value. So whatever hash values you are going to generate, they are randomized. So one hash value will not be equal to the another hash value. This is the property that is required for any hash function that we have seen in the earlier session. Right. In addition to this, you should not have any regularity in the inputs. If there is regularity in the inputs, that will make the attacker to assume what is the input that is given. So to avoid this, the author is saying that you should avoid the regularities in the inputs. So to give the randomization to the hash values and to provide or to avoid the regularities that appear in the input, you are expected to rotate the XOR operation, or you perform the rotated XOR operation, where you will be rotating it towards its circular, you are circularly shifting the bits 1 bit towards its left or right once you process the block. Right. That is the reason why we have discussed that rotated XOR performs better than the bit by bit XOR operation. But one point you have to remember here is, although the second procedure provides a good measure of data integrity, if there is no regularity in the input and if there is randomization in the hash values that are generated, that itself provides good data integrity. But still it is useless for data security when an encrypted hash code is used with a plain text. So in the previous sessions we have seen some examples of message authentication where we are encrypting the hash code that is generated. If this is the case, then R XOR, that is the rotated XOR, becomes useless. Why? Because you are encrypting and nothing you can do with this particular rotations and circular shifts, nothing will help, right? So for this purpose, if you are planning to encrypt the hash code of a message, it is better you don't go for this R XOR. And although a simple XOR, and so we have seen two different functions. One is the XOR and the second one is rotated XOR. Although a simple XOR or rotated XOR is inefficient, if only the hash code is encrypted. So both of these will not work, they become inefficient when the hash code is encrypted. So these are the important points that you should understand here. So we are just giving an idea in this session, we are just giving an idea of what basic hash functions we have, what are the advantages of these things, all these things we have discussed. So let us have a recap of this simple topic, which is two simple hash functions. In this we have discussed two hash functions that can be used, that is the XOR and the RXOR, which stands for the rotated XOR. Before entering into the topic, we have discussed what are the basic generalized principles on which the hash functions operate. The only two principles: the input should be viewed as a sequence of n-bit blocks like this. So this is an n-bit block, this is an n-bit block, n-bit block, like this. And the second one is the input is processed one block at a time in an iterative fashion to produce an n-bit hash function. And the first hash function that we have used is bit by bit exclusive OR, which is given by the formula Ci is equal to Bi1 exclusive OR, Bi2 exclusive OR, and so on up to Bin. And the performance of XOR is not that much efficient. So in order to achieve the regularity, or in order to avoid the regularity in the inputs, and in order to get the randomization of the hash values, you are going to rotate the hash values that are generated after processing each and every block. That is called as the rotated XOR operation. So this is the another hash value that we have discussed. And remember, the last point what we have discussed is note. The XOR and RXOR, though they appear as simple, they become very inefficient if the hash value is encrypted. So when you want to encrypt the hash value, it is not better to go with these two functions, that is XOR and RXOR. So that's all for this session. Thank you one and all for joining the session.